Hello everybody. So we just got the first episode of Moon Knight and it was amazing. So today I'm going to talk about it. Let's go. So first off, just want to say that early on in the episode we see Steven chasing a bus, similar to how in the first Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movie we see Peter Parker chasing a bus, so you know we're in for a good superhero story. I really loved in this episode how they would do when he was would go to sleep and you'd cut from you fell asleep, then him waking up in a different scenario, and I thought that worked really cool where he'd be starting to be attacked by a bunch of guys, then he'd black out, and then wake back up and all the guys around him would be down and bloody and stuff, and then the other time in the when he's driving the truck in that car chase and go to sleep and then he wakes up with a gun. It's I thought that was really, really cool how they did that, and I'm expecting next episode we're going to see the reverse of that. We're going to see stuff from Mark's perspective, and that'll be fun. So we'll actually get to see some of these action sequences that happened in the blackout periods. So I think that'll be very fun to kind of fill in those gaps, and from what it seems whatever happened in those gaps were pretty epic, so I'm excited to hopefully see those in the next episode if it's true that it's going to be from Mark's perspective. I thought that the villain's whole thing, I don't remember what the villain's name is, he's played by Ethan Hawke, but I thought his whole thing it reminded me a lot of Project Insight. That's what it was from Captain America Winter Soldier, with the whole knowing what somebody's going to do. Obviously with Project Insight it was an algorithm. With this it's more of a magical thing, sort of, I guess, and being able to know what someone is going to do in their life, and being able to tell whether they're going to be good or bad, and if they're bad, it does the kind of judges them with the one thing, and ends up killing them. So whatever they were going to do doesn't happen. I thought that was very interesting, and again, it reminded me a lot of Project Insight with it's kind of getting the punishment before the crime. So I thought that's very interesting concept there. I thought it's one of those interesting examples of a villain that you can tell has the right he has the right motives for what he's doing, but it's just you can't just judge someone before they do a crime. Just judge an innocent person, just kill them because something says that they're going to do something bad in the future. It's so yeah, you can tell because it has something oh, you could have stopped all this bad stuff, could have stopped Hitler, and it's sure, but you can't just so I thought that was very, very interesting how it reminded me of Project Insight, and just the whole idea of judging someone based on something they're going to do. I think that's interesting. So yeah, I think they did a good job with setting up the villain here, with a motivation, with a plan that kind of I think makes sense, and so I like what they did there. I wish we got to see some of more of that final action sequence when we finally see Moon Knight. We wish we got to see that actually, but it was fine what we got, and if that's just the tease at the end of the final episode, or not the final episode, that's the tease at the end of the first episode, I think we're in for some cool stuff later on in this series. And also this was the big moment that was one of the trailers, so I kind of we got that moment at the end of the first episode, kind of similar to what it was in the trailer. Was in the trailer it was our first look at the Moon Knight suit, really Moon Knight beating someone up. That was kind of our first look at that from the trailers, and it kind of plays the same role in the actual episode, in this actual series, where it's just kind of our introduction to Moon Knight, the suit, Moon Knight, the superhero, whereas before we just seen the Steven persona. Now we're going to see, now we get to see the Mark persona take over as Moon Knight, and so it kind of serves the same role in the actual episode as it did in the trailer. And really, it's the only thing that we had gotten in the trailers. We really haven't seen any other fight scenes, so that means we're in for some really, really cool. Well, okay, I probably shouldn't say that because I haven't actually watched all the trailers, but from the one I watched, it only showed that. There may have been more stuff that would have shown more, but I did not watch it. So that just means, for me at least, there's going to be some really cool stuff that I have not seen before moving forward in this series, so I'm excited. I think this is going to be a really good series. I think it's going to be... I think this premiere was the best of all the Disney Plus shows. I think it just did everything so perfectly. I think others kind of were a bit clunkier, and this really didn't work as well. Whereas this one, I think, worked perfectly, introducing us to Steven and kind of what the whole situation is, introducing us to this whole idea of him blacking out, and then this other persona taking over, and being Moon Knight. And obviously, of course, we don't see that other persona until the end, but it's still we set up that idea, and we'll probably see it next episode, that side again. That's my prediction. But no, it's just does a good job setting this stuff up, setting up this confusing thing of what's going on, setting up the threat. I think it just does everything perfectly to where I'm okay, this was a good first episode. And I think this is going to be, I think, the best of the Marvel Disney Plus shows. I think they've just gotten better as they've gone forward. I don't know what it is. Maybe they learned from, how their shows have worked. Maybe they've realized, kind of ironed everything out to make it, work better, because they've kind of seen how some of the other shows haven't really been received all that well in the premiere. So they're kind of finally getting to a point where they are doing a good job. I think even in the Hawkeye premiere, that was really good also. What did they do? The first two, I think. That was a really good idea. So I just think they're getting better and better with how they're doing these premieres for these Disney Plus shows, and I think this was definitely the best one yet. Another prediction that I have is, I think Steven's knowledge of Egyptian stuff is going to have to come into play later on. There's going to be some situation where the Mark persona isn't going to be able to figure something out, and Steven will have to, he'll be able to recognize what the thing is from his knowledge of Egyptian stuff. So, because it's you set up a character with that worked in a museum, knows about all this Egyptian stuff, and a villain who's kind of dealing with these Egyptian stuff too. There's going to be a merge of that where Steven's going to be able to do something that Mark can't. Steven's kind of the underdog in this situation, and probably he'll have to learn how to be part of the Moon Knight thing. Because this whole time, he's kind of been a hindrance to the whole thing. You even have whatever the thing that is talking, being the idiot's in control again. The Moon Knight thing's kind of being kept from him, and he's kind of a hindrance to it. And so it's going to be interesting to see kind of him kind of become part of it also, and be helpful in that mission with his Egyptian knowledge. So that's my prediction for where the show is going, the importance of the Steven persona in this whole thing. And overall, really enjoyed this episode, really enjoyed this premiere of Moon Knight. I think this just did such a good job at introducing us to this new character, this new side to the MCU, and very excited to see what's going to happen next, learn a little bit more of the Mark persona now. Definitely hoping to see, the next episode be from Mark's perspective with everything that happened this episode. I will say, they're probably going to have some pacing issues. I think it's just the nature of having 6 episode seasons, kind of just, they're gonna have pacing issues, because I just feel like if next episode is this episode from Mark's perspective, then it's like, okay, so if it takes until the 3rd episode to move it after the 1st episode, and it's like, you're halfway through. You're going to be halfway through the season, and you've only had 2 episodes of actually having the story move forward. So, I feel like that's going to create some pacing issues a little bit. But, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe they'll be able to knock it out of the park and actually make something that doesn't have pacing issues. Because that's another thing that these Disney Plus shows have had issues with. Pretty much all of them. I think Hawkeye had it the least, even though it still had a little bit of and I think having Kingpin show up at the end, it felt a bit rushed at the end. So, we'll see. Hopefully, this one is able to actually have really good pacing. Hopefully, they'll have figured it all out, but we'll see. I have high hopes for this show, and I'm very excited for where this is going, to see more of Moon Knight. Again, really enjoyed this first episode, and I think this is going to be a really, really good show. Anyway, though, those are my thoughts on the first episode of Moon Knight. Please comment below yours, and remember to give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and maybe check out some of my other videos. And with that said, that's a wrap.